termites and pests.
It is week 3 of the Willis Report Cash Challenge, and we've been following 2 couples on their quest to live on cash alone with no credit cards, none, no plastic. We'll hear live from our first Cash Challenge participant moments from now, but let's take a look at a video update of our second couple, Dan and Delane Seal. They started just last week. Listen to this.
Well, it's 1 week into the Cash Challenge, and I have my checkbook in hand here. A couple of interesting things happened this week. 1 day into the challenge, I had a tooth break and had to go to the dentist. So I did find out that by paying with cash, I saved 5% on my bill. The other thing I did find out, though, was with taxes. I tried to file electronically for state taxes this year, and they require a credit card to pay that fee. So I am doing all my taxes by hand, sending them in by mail, certified mail.
So this is the way I track our spending. I use an Excel spreadsheet and track all of our different categories. And then when we get our cash, we put them in envelopes. And then I take the envelopes for whatever gas money I need or groceries, and I put it in here, and this goes in my purse. So I don't spend money on something I shouldn't. So tonight, Natalie and I are going to a play at our school. We could have purchased tickets online, but that would have required a credit card. So we have our cash.
But everything else seems to be going pretty well. I've been paying cash this whole week, and it's been going smoothly.
Great stuff. Who would have thought you could save money at the dentist by using cash? Well, Dan and Delane, as you saw, they're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, and we'll continue to update you on their progress as the weeks go on. Now, though, I want to bring back our first Cash Challenge participant, Stephen Swiatek. His lovely wife, Caitlin, is out of town on business, but you decided to come in and talk to us. So how's it going? Week number 2.
It's going quite awesome, I would have to say. Week 2, it feels like we're really hitting our groove. Week 1 wasn't really that hard, but week 2, we're just really flowing through it and enjoying the whole cash aspect of it.
So are you getting any discounts? Are you saving any money?
We have found just one place here in town. I did a little research online and found out that one gas station, Safeway, here in Colorado Springs, offers a discount for cash, and so we decided to head over there one night when our fuel tank was getting on empty there, and we found out that we were saving 14 cents a gallon when we paid with cash, so that was pretty exciting for us.
That's great news. That's great news. Now, Caitlin's not here tonight, but she did send a video, so we get to show that. Here's Caitlin.
Hey Fox, it's Caitlin. I have been noticing something on this cash challenge that I wanted to share with you, and that is that my gas tank is never full. It's driving me crazy. It's so hard to gauge with cash how much gas you need, and it's not one of those things that I'm going to sit and really calculate. I'd rather do other things with my time. So I'm just kind of winging it and paying cash when I can and getting gas in the tank. But man, this never full stuff, kind of halfway empty the whole time, never filled up. It just feels like you go through your tank so much faster.
Wow, I can relate to that. I always want the full tank. I understand what she's talking about. That would be tough. But you got to tell me, how's this going for your marriage? I mean, because money is one of those things that couples fight about.
It's going quite well. It's brought the communication factor to the forefront, and we've really knuckled down and just decided to really talk about the challenge and what it means and what it's going to take to really get through this challenge. And we're doing quite well, and I would say I love it. And I would say my wife would say the same thing. And I think we're just to the next level in that communication, our finances, and no really arguments, or it's just been very peaceful. And I think just staying on top of where we are and just being out in the open with our cash like we have to be has been really good for us.
You told our producer, and I thought this was really telling, that when you have credit cards, it's easier to hide information because nobody sees the bill until the end of the month, right? But when it's cash, you have to be really clear about what's going on, or else you run out of it, right, Stephen?
Absolutely. With the cash, we decided that for the week ahead, we would just think about how much cash we're going to need for certain items. I know there can be those that come up unexpectedly, but kind of gas and groceries, and just kind of plan that ahead and go get the cash beforehand so that we have it, and it works out quite well doing it that way.
Stephen, thanks for coming on. Please tell Caitlin we missed her, but we know she'll be back.
You got it. Thank you, Jerry.
And now I want to introduce you to a brand spanking new Cash Challenge participant. He tweeted us saying this, look at this, great news. I'm doing the All Cash Challenge and love it. Thanks for the suggestion. Love your show. Joining me now from Washington, D.C. is Chris Lynch. Chris, welcome to the show. Look at you. You're awesome.
Jerry, hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Normally I'm watching you at this time, so it's so cool to be here, sitting here in D.C. watching, being on the show with you. So thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. Now, you're already cash challenged, so you're
Yes.
already in the middle of this. What's it like?
You know what? It's been interesting. So before I would use a lot of debit and credit for different situations, but when all of that, all of the security breaches took place, I started thinking, maybe it's time to go back to cash like I did when I was in high school and college and in my early part of my career back in the 80s and 90s. And then when you really issued the challenge, that's what kind of motivated me to do that. So I started a little bit in March, and then I really got serious about it in April. And it's really been well. It's been a fun adjustment because, cash is king, and it's great to have it, and it keeps you responsible.
Well, you say it keeps you responsible, but I mean, sometimes, you need more of it. Have you run into any challenges so far? Is there anything, just the details of managing this day to day?
Yes. Sometimes if you underestimate the amount of money that you should keep with you, you may have to go to the ATM and get more out. So that means if you're not near the one that, like an ATM where, like my bank is, I have to go to another ATM and I might incur some fees that way. Or sometimes people that have been using a lot of cash, they've run out of change to give back. So there's one time I remember where I gave a guy, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to help you out. And he's like, well, I'm out of change. So I'm like, okay, well, here's my debit. So I felt like I was cheating on you a little bit. Sorry.
Well, it's interesting because, I've been playing along too. And what you find is the people running the cash registers look at you like, what do you mean cash? We don't know about cash.
Oh yeah, but it's also fun to make jokes because I went up to someone and I said, "You take cash, right?" And she looked at me kind of funny, and I'm like, "Okay."
It's still legal tender here in the U.S. of A., I think.
Absolutely.
So tell me what your goals are, because you seem pretty committed to this, and you must have something
Yes.
in your mind's eye that you're going for.
Yeah, I'm actually taking a vacation this summer to Las Vegas, so I really want to, take cash and save towards that, but also I want to get into the habit of spending only, what I've budgeted. So when you use cash, once you're out, you're out. So I'm really forcing myself to do that with expenses. And also, I have like what I call a feel-good fund that if I come under budget, I can either save that money, whether it's $2, $3, $5, $10, whatever dollars, and put that towards something like, buying. I love electronics, so I'm totally into buying toys. But that's something that keeps me motivated, but it also keeps me responsible. I love the discipline of that because, again, using cash, once you're out, you're out. So
you have an interesting personal story because, as I understand it, you've written a book on diabetes, and for you, it's all about having control of yourself and your life and your resources. It all kind of fits together, and we're showing your book right now.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Tell me your ultimate sort of personal goal here with all of these things.
My goal with all of this is discipline. One of the things I love about your show and Fox and what you do is you teach a lot of good habits, and this is a really good discipline that allows you to budget yourself in a different way, but use a different vehicle. So when, cash really forces me to stay on target. And that way I can stay honest with what I'm trying to spend each day and also what I'm trying to accomplish as far as a goal. So I would say my goals would be is to have a good retirement down the road, find ways of taking some of the extra money that I have and maybe diversify that into some investments in that type of situation. But the goal of it is to really be safer so that when these breaches come in, I'm prepared for them. Whereas before I kind of reacted to it. So now having cash as a backup, it's kind of a way of life. Kind of like I talk in my book about the pillars of peace, love, joy, and happiness. I want to add peace, love, joy, happiness, and financial responsibility.
Financial responsibility. I hear you.
Absolutely.
It really appeals to me, that idea of having control over yourself, your resources, what you own, what you owe. Makes a lot of sense. Chris, thanks for coming on. And you're going to come back, right? We're going to have you back to talk more about this. Okay.
I'll be back.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. And do you want to take our cash challenge? We're looking for more people who want to share their experiences going all cash. Go to jerrywillis.com. You can send me an email there, or you can tweet me at JerryWillisFBN. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big tweeter. So pony up. We want to hear from you. And coming up, how the EPA is messing with our fragile housing market, and GM CEO Mary Barra making her first. And on to our next cash challenge update. Our next participant has been going credit card free for a few weeks now. Let's see how he's doing. Joining me now from Washington, D.C. is Chris Lynch. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, Jerry, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's always fun to have you on the show. So what's going on? What's going on?
You know, it's all going well. So I'm about 90% cash, 10% credit cards. But I was listening to Caitlin.
10% credit cards?
Well, I had to a couple times. So again, I'm sorry if I cheated on you a little bit.
You cheated on me.
But here's the interesting thing. Let me tell you a funny story. I was at the grocery store and I had cash and I bought, I was in the self-service line. So I started using, I was putting everything through and scanning it through. So when it asked me to pay for cash, I started putting in the dollar bills, the $20 bills. So it rejected like 3 of them. And I'm like, what is this?
Oh, no.
So I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, I have to go get some more money out of the ATM because, I had enough with me to get the groceries, but it was rejecting the 20s. So that was, those are situations that are kind of interesting. But but again, for the most part of it, it's really going well, and I'm getting used to it again. So it's awesome.
So tell me more about what the individual situations you found yourself in. I mean, it's funny because you and I talked before about how people may not want to accept cash, but what have you found?
Right. Well, what I found is the more I've started using cash, I've started engaging in conversations with people. So that's been fun because some people are like, well, you know what, I think I'll try this and do what you're doing as well. So it's about planning. Again, it's about discipline. So the harder part has been making sure that you have enough with you so that you don't have to go to another ATM. But once you get to that point and you get into the habit of it, it really becomes fun. So, like today, I've got more cash in my wallet because I'm staying under budget and things are going well. So my Feel Good Fund is growing for my trip to Vegas later on this summer. So that feels good that there are success points that way. But with May coming in, with a brand new month, I'm going 100% cash.
I love it. Okay. You sent us a picture. I guess you're in a store, in a restaurant. Tell us about what happened there.
Okay, so I went and I got a sandwich, and then as I was walking out, I saw this picture that said, gift card system down, sorry for the inconvenience. So I'm sitting here thinking, if I was the manager or the staff, I would be encouraging people to use cash. That way, if they were using a gift card, now I'd pay cash for my sandwich, but I was sitting there thinking, here's an opportunity for them not even to step into an objection, but to walk into a situation where they could say, hey, use your cash, and there's no inconvenience. You're right there, you're using it, buying more, and everything's fine. So I saw the sign was plastered there, so as I was walking out, the guy looked at me like I was taking a picture where it was on the vegetable bin. And I guess the guy looked at me. Yeah, I was laughing. He was like, what's he taking a picture of? And I'm like, this sign, you're so busted, So, but again, it's that way to have a conversation and to engage individuals that, hey, you don't have to use the word inconvenience. You have cash.
There's this world called the Benjamins, the dead presidents. You can use the currency of our nation and pay in cash. Chris, thanks for coming on. Good to see you. You're going to be back next week, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay.
Anytime.
Good
Thanks.
to hear it.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I'm Steven, and this is my wife Caitlin, and we're from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I'm Andrea, and this is my husband Chris.
Hi, I'm Delane Seal, and we are the Seal family from Colorado Springs.
Hi, I'm Chris Lynch. I'm 48 years old. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm single, and I want to take the All Cash Challenge.
We are so excited.
Yes, we are.
Woo! Woo!
We have 4 credit cards that we've used over the years, and we'd like to pay those off and go on a strictly a cash basis.
We want to see if we actually spend less money by using cash instead of credit.
And I thought, what another way to integrate something cool yet disciplined, in my day-to-day regimen.
We adopted our very own cash challenge about 3 years ago when we were sick and tired of our debt. And the only way to get rid of debt and pay it down would be to budget and to pay cash for everything.
Meet the Masons. This is how we track our cash on a weekly basis.
Put little stickies on the mason jar for the different categories. And then at the end of the week, I add up all the receipts.
And I use an Excel spreadsheet and track all of our different categories. And then when we get our cash, we put them in envelopes.
Money does feel tighter when you're paying with cash.
I tried to file electronically for state taxes this year, and they require a credit card.
I'm out shopping at my favorite stores. I've got a cash budget balance of $500. So let's see how I could stretch that to get some new outfits.
And it is the middle of the month, and we're starting to see slim pickings because we've spent a lot of money on groceries.
So I have a confession. I'm so embarrassed. I totally over withdrew on our checking account.
using cash is fun because not only does it require you to be responsible, it really requires you to be disciplined.
When we go to the grocery store, we go to a restaurant, the bill comes, we take the cash, and we lay it on the table. And people think that's weird, but cash is king.
One day into the challenge, I had a tooth break and had to go to the dentist. So I did find out that by paying with cash, I saved 5%.
We love self-checkout. It's the easiest place to pay cash.
We just finished our Costco shopping. I only spent $141.74. We have approximately $18 left over, so we have money for a hot dog.
If you are going to pay cash, it requires a ton of planning.
I'm here to say, if we can do it, so can you.
Aren't they awesome? Well, joining me now, Caitlin and Steven Swiatek from Colorado Springs and from Washington, D.C., Chris Lynch. They are here on set with me today. We brought them here so they could share their experiences with you. And I have just been so impressed with all three of you guys. You've been awesome at making it happen and really explaining the process along the way. Caitlin, I'm going to start with you. You were like the camera queen with a little video camera. I thought it was great, monitoring everything. What was the toughest thing about going credit card free?
I would say the hardest thing was just managing the cash flow. When you're paying with a credit card, you have your income in your account at the end of the month, your cash is there to pay your bills. But when you're paying with cash, you have to really monitor that bank balance.
And Steven, you showed us the wallets you use, the envelopes you use, but there's another complication here. You guys are a couple. You're not doing this individually. How did that make things more complicated?
It made it more complicated in the beginning just because the communication barrier had to be opened up a bit there, and I think we did that pretty quickly early on, and so that was very nice for us, and then the communication just kept skyrocketing from there, and it was awesome. And I think we're a lot closer because of this. And we're a changed couple, and I'm proud to say it, in a good way.
Wow, that's really cool. It is hard to talk about money, and when you're forced to do it, it can really change the dynamic. Chris, I so enjoyed your videos
thank you, Jerry.
From the car, right? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, right outside the store. So.
The truth is out now.
I'm sorry.
So tell me what was hardest for you. You only did it for 6 weeks, right? You guys did it for 2 months, 6 weeks.
Right.
What was the biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle was breaking the cycle of using debit and using credit and having to go back to the ATM, budgeting. But again, it's become a way of life now. So that's what makes the obstacles were fun, because it's helped me to form a new habit. So, yeah.
My favorite story about you is you said you'd had to get a lot of things in your life under control.
Right.
And for you, money was just another thing that you wanted to own and take charge of. Tell us about that.
Yes, part of the transformation of getting from the diabetic, taking insulin shots and all of those things.
So Chris is diabetic.
Yeah.
He's gotten that under control.
Right, that's under control now. So the last part was getting the financial part down, and the good news of saving over $500 in that short period of time has given me the forward momentum to do it again and again and again. So it's become a way of life now.
Wow.
Just like, disciplining with diet. Same thing.
All right, I'm just going to tell on Caitlin and Steven here. So they come to New York City. Where do they go? They go to an all-cash restaurant. So let's see a picture of that. How did you guys, Caitlin, how did you find that?
We were just walking around near Times Square, and we were hungry, and we wanted some good Asian food, and we stopped at this restaurant, and sure enough, on the door, a cash only. So we thought, opportunity, we need to take a picture for Jerry, and that we did. So
as you have, I'm going to miss your pictures. Let me tell you. So Steven, to you, as you go forward, are you going to keep any pieces of this? Are you going to continue to do it? How has it changed the way you're going to handle money?
Kate and I have been talking, and I think we're probably not going to do the whole cash-only thing. We're going to do a little bit of both. A little bit of credit card, a little bit of cash, a little bit of debit card. I think with the hard, fast bills that we have, we're going to do more credit card. But on the things with like entertainment money, also with groceries and those things that we spend a lot of money on during the month, to keep it in check, we're going to use cash on that, and that way it reins in our spending, because we found that to be very beneficial for us.
So things that you would otherwise describe as things that are recurring purchases, you're going to pay in cash. And that actually makes a ton of sense. Durable, non-durable spending, it should be different. Chris, how are you going to live differently?
I'm actually going to try to save more money each month. So whatever the goal was this month, I'm going to beat it the next month and save more.
Okay,
to try to
so
make that happen.
I got to ask, did you guys hit your goals, Caitlin? And do you have any words of wisdom out there for anybody who wants to try this?
We hit our goals, yes. I would say just focus on having a budget and following it. And if you implement a cash perspective by doing that, you will definitely save money.
Stephen?
Agreed. We had a blast with it. It's sad that it's coming to an end, but also it's not really coming to an end. It's still life. It happens, and this is going to be day to day for us. And so we're going to take what we learned over the last couple months, and we're going to use them and implement them still going forward. So this is going to be a lifelong journey.
I love it. Chris?
The next time someone breaches our system, use cash. That
Wow.
is the best weapon that we have it's our daily usage product. Let's continue to use cash. That way we can continue to transact our commerce in the stores and not have to worry about these breaches.
And just to explain here, the genesis of this idea, in part, Target, of course, customers, millions and millions of customers breach their information stolen. And this happened not just at Target, frankly, but lots and lots of stores, Michael's and others. And so we were looking for a way that consumers could take charge and feel like, they didn't have to get ripped off. And using cash, frankly, is one way to do it. And it also puts you in control of your relationships and your money. So there's all kinds of benefits.
Absolutely.
You guys, thank you. And thank you for coming to New York today.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Really
Jerry.
appreciate it. Great job.